World trade in commodities is increasing each year, with wood packaging materials being the predominant type of packaging for exported commodities. Wood packaging materials can be made from wood infested with forest pests and thus serve as a pathway for the introduction of pests into the importing country. Forest pests endanger plant resources of the importing country. Annual losses from pests introduced with wood packaging materials are estimated to be millions or even billions of dollars. Here are a few examples to consider. In the last 2 decades, wood packaging materials served as the pathway for a range of pests. The Asian longhorned beetle was introduced into the United States and Europe. The emerald ash borer was introduced into the United States and the European part of the Russian Federation. The pinewood nematode, the most dangerous pest of conifers, was introduced into Portugal. At the points of entry, imported commodities of plant origin are subject to regular inspections under the supervision of the National Plant Protection Organization. There are certain difficulties associated with the inspection of such packaging materials as dunnage, crates, and pallets. Therefore, they are inspected on a case-by-case basis. In 2002, the International Standard on Phytosanitary Measures No. 15, Guidelines for Regulating Wood Packaging Material in International Trade, was adopted. The standard is implemented by most countries. However, live quarantine pests are still regularly intercepted in wood packaging materials. Evira, the Finnish Food Safety Authority, treats the inspection of wood packaging materials associated with commodities with particular care. The health and the well-being of forests are of vital importance to Finland. A substantial part of the country's export revenues comes from forest products. Forests are also highly valued for their recreational opportunities. Since the late 1990s, Evira started to pay closer attention to wood packaging materials. For many years now, the pinewood nematode has been intercepted in wood packaging materials, most often in those coming from China and the USA. The situation has vastly improved since the adoption of ISMP 15 in early 2003. Nonetheless, live individuals of the pinewood nematode have been intercepted in wood packaging materials marked according to ISPM 15. Inspection of wood packaging materials falls within the scope of Evira inspectors. Inspections are conducted pursuant to Council Directive 2000/29/EC and Finnish legislation. Inspection plans for wood packaging materials are adopted annually. Wood packaging coming from countries where the pinewood nematode, Asian longhorned beetle, and citrus longhorned beetle occur is subject to more rigorous inspection. The Customs Service makes data on all commodities coming from the countries where these pests occur available to Evira. Pursuant to the Council Directive, all wood packaging materials used for transporting commodities fall within the scope of Evira irrespective of their origin, namely plant or otherwise. These are wooden framings to support motor vehicles, pallets, and other wood packaging, wooden spacers for stone blocks. Each individual frame or spacer should bear the appropriate stamp. When a consignment arrives into a temporary storage facility, a customs officer checks the compliance of the packaging with the international standard. The officer notifies the National Plant Protection Organization of the cases of non-compliance or absence of the stamp via email. The Customs Service informs Evira on consignments coming from the countries where such dangerous quarantine pests as the pinewood nematode, Asian longhorned beetle, and citrus longhorned beetle occur. These are China, USA, Canada, Portugal, and Spain. Upon the verification of the accompanying documents, an Evira inspector proceeds to the inspection of the wood packaging materials for the presence of live pests. The presence of frass produced by pest insects readily indicates that the wood packaging materials are infested with stem pests, longhorn beetles, bark beetles, jewel beetles, and have not been subjected to treatment. The frass usually remains on the surface of the commodity or packaging and may indicate the presence of live pests. The stamp indicates the country of origin and treatment methods applied to the wood packaging materials. The pinewood nematode is one of the most harmful quarantine pests that are easily spread with wood packaging materials. To detect this pathogen, wood samples are collected from the wood. Power drills and special bits are used for this purpose. It is important to preserve the structural integrity of the packaging during the sampling procedure. It should be noted that wood packaging materials made from coniferous wood are inspected for the pinewood nematode and longhorn beetles of the genus Monocamus. Deciduous wood is inspected for the Asian longhorn beetle and citrus longhorn beetle. Deciduous and coniferous wood may be distinguished by odor. All other species of pests intercepted on the packaging are also collected. The commodity with wood packaging or wood packaging per se, which are non-compliant with ISPM 15 provisions, are separated from other consignments and are subject to more rigorous inspection. Upon sampling of one consignment, the sampling bit is disinfected with an alcohol solution or by flaming. Data on the results of inspection and sampling, as well as the samples, are sent to a laboratory for testing. The pinewood nematode easily survives in wood materials. This dangerous pathogen is on the quarantine pest lists of many countries, including Finland and Russia. This microscopic worm is the most harmful pathogen of conifers. Under favorable climatic conditions, it is capable of causing massive wilting of conifers. The pinewood nematode emerged as a concern for the Finnish Plant Protection Organization in the mid-1980s when a wood consignment of pine ships from North America appeared suspicious. The consignment was sampled. This was the first incident of intercepting the pinewood nematode in Europe. In the 1980s, the European and Mediterranean Plant Protection Organization recommended prohibiting the importation of all untreated wood of conifers from the countries where the pest occurred. The pinewood nematode is native to North American forests. It poses no risk for local conifers. They are resistant to the pathogen. In the early 20th century, this species was introduced into Japan, where it caused massive death of pines. Then, the pest became widely distributed in China, South Korea, and Taiwan. In 1999, the nematode was intercepted in the portside area in Lisbon, Portugal. The pest is assumed to have been introduced with wood packaging from China. The nematode is vectored from tree to tree by the longhorn beetles of the genus Monocamus. The pest has been repeatedly intercepted in wood packaging materials used for the importation of commodities. The Lappeenranta laboratory of Evira specializes in analysis of samples for detection of forest quarantine pests. On the 20th of June 2013, Evira inspectors visited Northern Karelia to inspect wood packaging materials in storage facility owned by an importer who had previously imported a commodity transported on wood pallets. To detect the pinewood nematode, the inspectors sampled the pallets by chipping with a cordless drill. The sampled pallet was stamped with the ISPM 15 mark. Thus, the pallet had supposedly been subjected to heat treatment and be pest-free. Inspectors delivered the samples here to the Lappeenranta laboratory. The samples were analyzed and found to be infested with live pinewood nematodes. Here is a piece of wood. This sample was taken from wood packaging from Asia. You can see boreholes, presumably those of the Asian longhorn beetle of the genus Anoplophora. Live larvae were not detected. We maintain this collection of samples here, particularly for inspector training purposes. Wood samples in the form of chips are placed into a glass funnel onto a mesh and covered with water. The nematodes settle to the bottom of the funnel. In 24 hours, the water containing nematodes is transferred onto a petri dish for examination and identification under a microscope. The identification can be based on the morphological characteristics. However, when detection confirmation is required, molecular analysis is performed. Since 1999, there have been 49 cases of the pest interception by Finnish inspectors in packaging materials originating from the US, China, Canada, Japan, and Portugal. European countries implement ISPM 15 that was adopted in 2005. Since the adoption of the standard, there have been 16 interceptions of the nematode by Evira specialists. In some of these cases, packaging materials were appropriately marked, which indicated that they had been treated according to the standard. Along with the pinewood nematode, the Asian longhorned beetle and citrus longhorned beetle, genus Anoplophora, have also been intercepted in wood packaging from China. These are also considered to be dangerous quarantine pests. Lately, these pests have been intercepted by inspectors in Austria, Finland, Switzerland, and Germany. There is an unusual and effective method employed by the Austrian Plant Protection Service. They use sniffer dogs trained specifically to detect insects in wood packaging. Dogs' keen sense of smell made it possible to detect longhorn beetles in crates imported from China. Detection dogs were also used to eradicate the pest outbreak in Austria that had been there for over 10 years. In 2010, Evira inspectors detected larvae of the Asian longhorn beetle in wood packaging used for granite slabs imported from China. It was wood packaging that served as the pathway for the pest entering North America and Europe, where it could cause significant damage to forest plantings. ISPM 15 requires that all timber and sawn wood used for the production of pallets and other wood packaging materials should be subjected to either heat treatment or fumigation using methyl bromide. When such sawn wood arrives at the place where wood packaging materials are produced, it should be accompanied with documents confirming that this sawn wood was heat treated. The stamp indicates that the wood has undergone appropriate treatment. The most common stamp on wood packaging is HT, which is the code for heat treatment to a minimum of 56 Celsius for a minimum of 30 minutes. This treatment is sufficient to destroy nematodes and insects present in wood. Another stamp used on imported sawn wood is KD, kiln dried. This mark indicates that the sawn wood was kiln dried to below 20% moisture content. The Council directive permits the use of such treatment in order to destroy harmful pests. Inspectors regularly perform control measurements of moisture content in the inspected sawn wood. The stamp indicates the treatment applied, the country of origin, and producer's identification number. Phytosanitary quality control of wood packaging produced in Finland falls within Evira's scope of activities as well. Evira performs supervision of wood packaging producers and authorizes them to use the appropriate stamp. Currently, there are about 800 companies manufacturing commercial wood packaging. Russia and Finland are neighbors and trade partners, sharing a common goal of preserving forests and protecting them from harmful pests and pathogens. Since as early as the mid-1990s, the two countries have been closely cooperating in monitoring and scientific research in forest quarantine. This cooperation resulted in the development of the Guidance on Inspection of Wood Packaging Materials for Quarantine Pests. The document is a joint effort of VNIIKR's and Evira's specialists. In the Russian Federation, Roselhoznadzor's specialists have also intercepted live pests in wood packaging materials. The Karelian branch of VNIIKR detected nematode species related to the pinewood nematode in samples of Chinese pallets that bore the appropriate mark. There have been multiple cases when forest pests were introduced from one country into the other. Global experience has shown that prevention of pest introduction is easier and cheaper than pest eradication. Timely and reliable inspection and testing of wood packaging materials is one of the main tasks of the Russian and Finnish plant protection organizations.